people behind this idea are the key partners in the Marie Curie program network. And we are 7 universities, including the coordinating university, which is Strathclyde University. We are basically engaged in discussing around the issue of changing employment. We have different colleagues from different parts of Europe. We have French colleagues, we have Belgian colleagues, we have Spanish and so forth. And we have tried to bring our PhD students, which are part of this network on changing employment, discussing around the nature of change of work in Europe and employment and labour market today.
Our objective is to look at critical social science research on changing nature of work and employment in Europe. We look at it on 3 dimensions. First is to do with employees and employers, and that's looking at regulation and the organisation of work, which is what this conference this week has been focusing on principally. The second theme is around inclusion, exclusion, but it's principally about migration and forms of migration within Europe, between different European states, and we're looking at a number of dimensions, including the impact of mobility, population mobility on gender, age, and employment principally. And the third issue we're looking at is work-life quality, really. So the overall package brings these 3 themes together, and the last week has been great because it brings students from both our own programme and also those externally to the programme together to work on a series of activities with external speakers, experts in the area, both within higher education, but also leading exponents, particular themes outside the academy, and that includes people from public sector, third sector organisations, some of them in Ireland, but in Ireland, Poland, Sweden, Belgium and Denmark. So it's a nice package that people have.
This Marie Curie program and the summer school, particularly here in Leuven, on flexicurity, labour market and social dialogue, offered for the first time this great opportunity to our students who are coming from all different partner institutions within the network of the Marie Curie to meet also other PhD students coming from other European countries, including also here KU Leuven in Belgium. So it is really a great opportunity for them to exchange ideas and to interact with key experts in the area of welfare state, labour market, employment relations, labour studies. We have seen in these days, during these days of the summer school, that bringing together different experts from also different disciplinary background was quite productive and quite efficient in a way, because he really gave a kind of broader spectrum to our students, understanding what is happening at the very moment in Europe.
Closer look at the players, unions. At the moment, unions in Holland are desperately looking for a new perspective. We are an uncollectively organized society. We are totally individualized. We put our votes out by liking something on Facebook or the internet, but we do not become collectively organized as we used to be. Unions have a membership of 20% at the moment, and it's declining. It's not going up despite the crisis. The members of the unions are my age, 55 and over, 50 and over. They are old people that come from a past that are not, they want to keep the past alive, and they are not changing enough. Many people see the unions as old-fashioned and irrelevant in the meantime, and they are still at the table, but as I said, they are a bit ambivalent in my opinion.
What do we show you? Click on it. And then we get a standard information window which we use for all our databases that we link to. So it gives you general description of what this survey is about. It is European cross-national, it's longitudinal, investigation of working conditions, quality of work, etc. It gives you information about the survey type, cross-national, longitudinal. It tells you in which years there were waves. So this is very informative, because your research question might span a number of years. And then here you find whether this data set would cover the period that is relevant for you.
Here they actually get a chance to talk to the other supervisors as well. And there's both the kind of behind the scenes stuff where we're supervising people and getting together with others in the groups to push forward the program agenda. What they get out of it is I suppose, because developing ideas in isolation, something people do, you know, in the academic environment, they do it on their own typically. And doing doctoral work on your own is very isolating. So they can judge, I suppose, each other's development intuitively, really, on where they should be. But the good thing about this week is students from more regular programs are involved, people doing single PhDs on their own. They can see, again, where they would be, because people identify themselves as first, second or third year, where they would be if they weren't in this program.
Obviously the international aspect is always really helpful if you're doing any kind of comparative analysis, so that's really good. I think particularly try and separate the benefit of having a network overall compared to just this one. The network overall is really useful because not only are people from different countries and different experiences, but also because of the type of literature that they're exposed to, and being a monolingual English speaker, it's really, really useful to sort of find out that there is something really interesting that you would have never known because you don't speak Spanish or Dutch or whatever it may be.
Doing a PhD can be kind of an isolating experience, and it's about us looking at the data and interpreting this data and sharing knowledge with other people can help us to look at our data, putting some distance, and actually bringing our other people's perspective on what we are doing. And it is about sharing, it is about understanding other stories of people that are doing something similar than what you are doing, but from a different angle, and that enriches the kind of work that we do.
Well, it starts more or less from the things that have been said in front of us, the keynote speakers, but afterwards it comes to the PhD. What are you doing? What are your findings? What do you find on the sectoral level? What do you find on the headquarter level, the subsidiary level? And then you see the differences. What factors did you consider? What did I forget maybe, or what were not so important in my research? This is a bit the point. And then it's good in this way that you then start from data you collected, case studies or quantitative studies, and then you generate this to a more broader idea. And this is what we did, for example, yesterday. We said, okay, the question was how can trade unions and management counter-react to flexicurity. Then we said, okay, there was one working on the sectoral level, one working on the subsidiary level, one on the national level, macro, meso, micro, and then you come to the concept of multi-level, that we should be involved in different levels. So it's more, you go to you start from the presentations, then you go to the research, and then you go back.
This network school here has benefited me a lot in order to further develop my research, and more than anything else, to gain contact to other PhD students and professors working in the same field of employment relations and the reality of the changing nature of work in Europe, and get contacts with also with people from different nations, different universities throughout Europe, who can also help me doing my field work, to make more contacts, to find possible interviewees, because I'm doing in-depth interviews as a methodology, and also to get the contacts in Belgium, because Belgium is one of the countries where I study.
We've got speakers who are from the academic institutions, we've got speakers who are practitioners, speakers from the trade unions, speakers from employers associations, we've got speakers even connected with social movements and non-governmental organizations. So it's been a good balance, but also lots of tension, lots of debates, lots of contradiction, lots of challenge, flushing out the issues, deconstructing the situation and saying, what does it mean in different dimensions and at different levels?
The main challenge today is that there is a lack of jobs. And that's a very simple challenge. And it's not linked to social policies exclusively. I think the lack of jobs is linked to the competitiveness position of Europe in the world. Europe has lost competitive ground. There are now 26 million of people who are unemployed. You have more than 5.5 million young unemployed in Europe. And the fact that jobs were lost is mainly due to the fact that Europe is not such an attractive place to do business. The key for the future is to make sure that we increase investments. We have this kind of discussions with Joseph and with the ETUC. I think we agree on the concept of investments, but on our side, the key focus is private investments. And the reason is that public investments are limited because we are in a period of fiscal consolidation. And by the way, in the last year, social protection spending has increased in all member states. So the way in which social protection can be the solution or investment through subsidies in jobs for us is limited. But private investments, and I will give a few figures to try to argue what I just said, that there is a problem of competitiveness. Foreign direct investment in Europe has decreased by 40% since 2000, so between 2000 and 2012. It means all the others investing in Europe are no longer so much interested, and they rather invest where the growing markets are, so in developing world. I think on the longer term, we have globalization, which is a reality and which is an opportunity as well, but we are not the best ones at mobilizing this opportunity. One key example of this is the fact that I mean, there are 1 billion more workers who have come in the global labor markets with the fall of the Iron Curtain, with the fact that China is now more and more on the same markets as others and not anymore excluded from it. And I think this has created a very big difference of competition around the world. But we have not yet in Europe understood how to use our strengths and how we can compete in this world. We have big strengths, we have innovative companies, we are leaders in a number of sectors. For example, the chemical sector is really an area where we are the leaders in the world. But I think altogether we are now not at the right speed. The rest of the world is running when we are walking. And a lot has to do with our capacity to reform, and capacity of reforms is also linked to the labor market.
We do agree that skills, it is a problem. For medium, long term, it's a problem. But for south of Europe, you have, it's not relevant at all. You have no single offer of jobs there. So what is the point? In fact, the real problem is, and it's much more bigger, the demand side, it means the customers for the companies. So if you look to what companies are telling us, only 7% of companies are telling that they have problems with labor. It means skills. Yeah? And 40% are telling our problem is lack of demand. This is a real challenge for Europe. So we do think that that is a major challenge for us, how to restore the framework which allows social partners to negotiate the fair pay, which could be in line with productivity. In a lot of member states, real wages are below, and in some countries very strongly, like in Poland, below the increase in productivity. And here, if we could act on this side, it could really improve in short time and rapidly this situation. Unfortunately, it does not happen, and here definitely we have something to do.
it's the first time we've had a full program of activity involving students from outside the network, and that interaction with them and our own has been very good. And but principally the questions, the level of development of all of them has been really interesting, and also that they're critical, because we live in a time which abhors criticism and challenge, although it may say that it doesn't, but it does. And it's nice that people who, you know, they're academics, are prepared to be critical and to say what they think about things and want to change things in a very positive way.
The specific character of this project is that it clusters social scientists from different disciplines. So it's a multidisciplinary perspective which is offered here from both sides, from the side of the educators and the universities involved in this process, as well as from the side of the students. We had here the possibility to see that, you know, we have students coming from different really backgrounds, sociology, economy, law, and coming from also different countries in Europe, without any distinction between, you know, Western and Central Eastern European countries. You know, we had a very nice, I would like, representation, yeah, of Europe. So in this kind of respect, I think that these students, the social scientist students, yeah, they deserve to be, you know, taken care of, and to be accompanied by educational institutions, particularly universities, to get yeah, a nice opportunity on the labor market. Secondly, I would also say that these are all young people, very young people. We have here, I think, probably, you know, the age is about, probably average about 25 years old. So these are really very much engaged young people who want to do something in society. They want probably to change society. They want to have a better future, a better society for everybody. So in that respect, I think it's worth and it's nice to see that, you know, they are all together here, discussing among them, interacting with the speakers we had, and trying also to challenge each other. We talk also in university about we need to be more interdisciplinary, we need to be more, you know, kind of inclusive. So, well, then let's try to invest in internationalization, international students without barriers, without constraints, yeah, among them and also between us and our students. So that's, I think the Marie Curie program is an excellent program because it's one of the few which offers this kind of opportunities. And I think students appreciate it very much.